So the best thing you can do as a man is look and go, okay, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard. I feel negative because these are all so difficult. I'm struggling with X, Y, Z. Let me internalize all of that and turn it into a superpower. Let me become genuinely uncomfortable with my situation in life and go and fix things. Because like I said, the universe is absolutely and utterly very giving. And if you truly hated being in the position you were in, every time I feel stressed or under pressure, I get excited. I hate to not be stressed. I wake up and I'm like, but it's how you look at the problems and how you use them to fuel you. So the question was, what's the problem for the average man today? What's the biggest problem? I think there's a whole host of problems. But what you have to do is frame it inside of your mind and understand that all of those problems are going to allow you, give you the fuel, the unlimited motivation that you need to become a successful and beautiful individual.
With great power comes great responsibility. It was certainly said before the great power came. My content existed because I tried my very hardest to be an absolute and utter realist, especially with uncomfortable truths. Completely. As a professional and as an adult, it would be stupid for me to sit here and say that now that I'm the most famous man on the planet, my words do not have more impact than they did before. With impact, with power comes responsibility, and things need to be worded in a very careful way. Now, when I do a long format interview, I have to sit there and consciously understand that any 10 seconds of that can be cut and used against me. So I have to be a lot more careful with how I say my words and how I construct my sentences. Of course, we agree with all of that. That's exactly what's happened to me. I agree with all of that. I don't want to be seen as a negative influence in the world. I know that there's a whole bunch of men. I get thousands of emails a week from men whose lives I've saved. I get thousands of emails a week from men who are on the verge of suicide and I've saved their lives. I believe in protecting and providing. I've been misunderstood. There's been large contingents of people who have tried very hard to purport lies about me. And the truth of the matter is, I've been producing content for a very long time. Hours and hours of videos been cut down to 2 or 3 seconds of clip. Those clips have gone viral and people misunderstand me. I don't want anybody to be offended by anything I say. I want to be a positive force in the world. I don't want anybody to hear what I say and make them feel bad about themselves. I want all people to live righteous and good, whether they're male or female. I think righteous is living true to your heart and knowing that you're doing good by people, not snaking anybody, not lying to anybody. I know I live a very righteous life. Who cannot become happy, contented individuals. I refuse to accept we live in a world where God has created people who, no matter how hard they work and how good their life becomes, can't be happy. I don't accept that. I accept that the universe is a very giving place and that God loves all of us. And if you try your best and you work hard, you can become a better person. It's an uncomfortable truth in many parts of the world. It's not a truth that I'm happy about.
Money isn't real. If you know what you have, you don't have much. And once you reach a certain level of money, you don't even know what you have. And you certainly don't own what you have. Outside entities, which you may have a stake in, own what you have. People who have a lot of money understand. It's very difficult for me to even say how much money I have, but I can have anything I want, anytime I want.
Full of multimillionaires making money. How am I not going to make money?
That's the whole thing about it, right? Because Q money in and of itself isn't a real concept. If the whole idea of Q money doesn't work if you're still being paid by the matrix, if you're still stuck inside of a contract and your words are controlled. There's a lot of people with a lot of money who can't say what they think. A lot of people with a lot of money who still have to take the injection they're told to take. A lot of people with a lot of money who can't stand up and say, no, that's wrong, I don't agree with this, because they're going to lose contracts, sponsorships, etc. So to save you money, I mean, you have to have enough money to not ever work again, depending on how you earn money. Because I'm completely and utterly self-sufficient, I can't be canceled. So I think my Q money number is actually going to be lower than others because my money will never stop. If I only had 20 million, I'd still be concerned about having an income of some sorts. And if my income was dependent on me agreeing with certain paradigms that the social system, the matrix tries to propagate, then it would be different, right? So it depends. It all depends on the individual. That's why I would save you money. It's around 20.
I sit with people who I used to go to school with from Luton who are still broke and tell them how to make money. And you know what they do? They answer back. Yeah, but you know, it's not that simple because, you know, the wife gets the kids, and you know what? And I don't like to do things that way. The way I like to work, the way you like to work is while you're fucking broke. What the fuck are you talking about? You just sat here and wasted 10 minutes of my time. I told you how to take your business of painting and decorating or whatever the fuck you're doing and make a serious amount of money, and now you're telling me the way you like to work? Then stay fucking broke. The fuck you want me to do? What level of arrogance? But this is people. They'll sit with a multimillionaire and tell you their view. Oh, I think that know when you're out qualified and accept it and learn. So we all do. I can't play piano for shit. The piano teacher walked in here and said, this is what you do. And I said, well, I like to move my hands this way. What kind of dumbass? But this is the arrogance people operate under. So I'd say 20% of people are lazy, 20 to 25%. A large portion of the world are not lazy. They're actually working exceptionally hard, but they're doing the wrong thing. 5% of people are too stupid. So say 25%, 5% is 30%, but 70% of people are brutally arrogant, and this is why they are poor. That's the truth.
And how did you make your first million?
Good question. I've talked about this already. It was an unorthodox strategy. I've talked about it at length, so I won't give the whole story because it's too long. But I identified a gap. I identified a market. I approached the scenario and the situation extremely professionally. And I worked exceptionally hard to earn the first $1 million. So my first millions came from owning a webcam studio. So I saw a little advertisement in the corner of a webpage saying, "Talk to live girls now." I've never been a porn guy. I'm not interested in that shit. But I was like, that's interesting. I know some girls with some money. Boom, boom, boom. I put together this apparatus, extremely professional. No fucking sexual misconduct, no Dan Bilzerian, no threesomes, nothing. Very professional. 50-somes if it's down. Very professional outfit. And I used all my business knowledge, all my life knowledge, and I applied it. I worked 22-hour days, I would say. I got to the point where I was so tired. I said, you know what? Give me 20 minutes. And if I could hear the alarm go off, I'd get up. Sometimes I just slept clean through it. It's like an hour. For months and months and months, and I built an empire. I built an insanely large empire. I'm completely out of that business now. But how did I do it?
As in, did you sell it?
I didn't sell it. I just closed it all down. I moved on. I started making a bunch of money, and I found other opportunities. But how did I get that opportunity? Perspicacity. First thing I said, pay attention. I paid attention. I looked at the girl. I'll give you the coffee shop example. This is what I did. I clicked on that advert. I saw the girl sitting there, miserable, waiting for a customer. I thought nobody's going to buy from an unhappy bitch. The men who are paying her are trying to escape an unhappy life, or they wouldn't be doing this shit. So when I got my girls online, smile. Happy girls get paid. That was the token. That was the slogan. Happy girls get rich. Joking, ha ha ha. Who's you gonna pay? You're gonna pay the girls like, yeah, having a blast. So I paid attention to the competition. I saw an opportunity, just at the coffee shop. So all the things they did wrong. The room was messy, camera quality was shit. There's the basic stuff. The way the girl acted and interacted, all that stuff. And I applied it all by paying attention countless hours watching everybody else, finding the way to do it better, just like with the coffee shop, and I did it better. So I was absolutely and utterly perspicacious, and that's how you make money. And I did it with that, but I could have done it with anything. And now I do it with everything. The story of me sending a text message via my network and having a coffee shop is a true story. I've been in there maybe twice. I don't go. And I have mechanisms in place to make sure I'm not robbed too badly, because unfortunately a little bit of cash goes missing. But everything's in place and it makes me money. I don't think I've even drunk my own coffee. So I identified, I put together a list. It needs to be like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. I have competent people who work for me, which is very hard to find, but I do. They understand to follow the doctrine to the doctrine. And I'm getting money into a bank account. That's it. And you can do that with literally anything. If you have a strong network and you pay attention. You can do anything. Even podcasts. We're doing a podcast right now. You guys are already big and successful at this. I'm telling you, you can look at the biggest podcasts in the world and still see what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. That's the game. That's the game. And then you have to outcompete everybody else.
And what's your net worth now?
You know what's? It's kind of funny because
is that sigh? That's the shittest question so far on this show.
No. It's I don't actually really know, because they say if you don't know what you've got, they say if you know what you've got, you ain't got much, and it's so fucking true. I don't know how much that coffee shop is worth. I know what it makes me roughly a month. I don't know what I could sell it for. I can guess now, like if I would put a 6 times multiplier on it, I could guess. But then what am I doing for every property? How much are all my properties worth? Fuck knows. Different than when I bought them. The price has gone up, down. I don't even check. Don't know. So how much are all the property worth? I can guess. How much the business is worth? I could guess. How much is my brand worth? If I put my name to something, it sells. I've been offered $50, $60, $70 million to sell junk to children, which I wouldn't do because I have too much morals. How much is my brand worth? I'm the most Googled man on the fucking planet. God knows. I couldn't guess. I would guess that because there's different metrics of measuring the value of, say, a business, sometimes they'll put a 3 times multiplier on it, sometimes they'll put an 8 times multiplier on it. Let's put it this way. Hustlers University, 175,000 students, was doing about $13 million a month profit. That's an online educational company. Online is the future. Education is the future. It was seamless, fantastic. It outcompeted Oxford, Cambridge, everybody. It was the best school on the planet. Not just because we had 175,000 students, because we retained 175,000 students. That's the key. 175,000 people were making more money than they invested in each other. There's no other platform on the planet that can do that. We had no competition. There was no other online digital learning platform that was even 1% as close. We were the largest online digital teaching platform on the planet. And everybody wants to make money. So everybody wants to join. Male, female, rich country, poor country. That's $13 million a month that was doing. So what's that? 120, $130 million a year? 8 times multiplier? What's that? What, 800 million by itself? Like, depending how you want to estimate it, I can sit here and say I'm worth $200 million or $1 billion. I could be a billionaire with net worth, things I own, things I'm in control of. Depends on how you want to analyze it. So the reason I sighed is because I don't have a clue how much money I'm worth. I don't know. I know that if I want shit, I get it. I know that the world is effectively free now. I'm at a point of money where I never, ever contemplate the price of anything ever. The whole world, the only way I can explain being ridiculously rich is that everything is completely free. So if you want something, even 1%, even if you want something a little bit, the cost is 0% consideration. So I have 30 cars. I tried to stop at 10. But the car owners know I'm going to buy them, right? So they decide to launch a new Lambo, and they text me and go, "Hey, new Lambo." I don't even ask to see a picture. I'm just like, okay, because I'm not going to notice the money going missing. So why not at least? I might only glance at it for 3 seconds, like 3 like I just go, oh, that's worth the money because the money is worth nothing. So the whole world is free. If I want coffee, it's like I buy and do things like the same way a person not even buys coffee, but a penny sweet. It's just like, oh fuck it. It doesn't mean anything. I can't explain it. I don't have a clue how much money. I don't. That's the answer. I don't know. I just know I can have whatever.
How many people out there have such ridiculous sums of money? Truly ridiculous sums of money. There are so many rich people in the world, and it's kind of like your reality is based up. It's the Matrix, right? If you're broke, everyone's broke. If you're rich, everyone's rich. And a lot of people have this separation. I was lucky to live in both worlds, but a lot of people have this separation. Nobody goes, wow, he went to school. He studied hard. Right. Who they fuck? They're like drug dealer, gangster. And they do that because they know that the easiest way to amass wealth is to break the rules, because the rules are not designed to allow most people to make money. You can make money within the rules, of course you can. But most people don't. Most people who follow the path, work, consume, die. That's it. Yeah. So I always knew the same thing as you, and I knew there had to be another way. I knew that just working for money was a paradigm that wasn't true. And then you understand making your money work for you, and you understand delinking your time from money. You start learning to understand these things, but eventually you build a system, and you build an ecosystem like me. I have 60 or 70 people work for me all around the world. And things just happen and money just kind of appears as long as everything's well organized. But in terms of making money, it's certainly easier than it's ever been, because we live in a global marketplace now. You can reach the world, and all you have to do is have a message worth making people listen to. The hard part about making money today is that we live in an attention economy. You have to garner attention from people. It's difficult, right? Because anyone can start a YouTube channel. But it's getting the views that's hard, right? Yeah. So you have to be talented enough and skillful enough to garner attention. But if you can garner attention, then you can make money. I think that's the new modern way to view the world. It's an attention economy. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're getting attention, you'll make money from it. Investing in yourself, especially learning from somebody who is already doing what you want to do, is not risky. And you're right. The people who believe that's risky are just stuck deep inside the matrix, because you're right. They're going to pay 60, 70,000 pounds for a degree from university, which is one, completely useless. And secondly, it's always kind of been amazing to me. You talk about kickboxing. If I want to go learn kickboxing, I expect my coach to be able to fight. If I want to go learn piano, I want to see my piano teacher play piano. Yeah. But people will go to university and learn business from a dude who's never had a business, who's broke. It's just like, it's clown world. It's stupid. Yeah. Like, education's becoming decentralized, which is actually one of my products, so I'm going to talk about it. But education is becoming decentralized now with the internet, and the smartest thing you can do is look at somebody's life and go, this guy is living, or he's doing exactly what I want to do. I'll learn from him. Mm-hmm. That is the smartest thing you can do, as opposed to just going to these traditional educational systems. The reason university is such a massive scam, and I said this a million times, is because it exists in an echo chamber. It doesn't exist in fair competition. The reason universities still manage to function is because they'll give children loans to go to these schools, but you're not allowed to use the loan for anything else. If I were to say to the average 18-year-old, here's 50 grand. You can either start your own business, you can buy crypto, you can buy mentorship from you, me, another millionaire online, you can fix your house up or your parents' house up, you can buy a nice car, or you can go get a degree. And you're given the 50 G's. How many people do you think would choose a degree?
None.
Nobody. Zero. So they link the loan to the degree. So the choices are either don't get the loan at all, or get the loan and go to school.
Yeah.
Which means that the universities don't exist in fair competition. There's no fair competition within the entire educational system.
Right.
As soon as there's fair competition, nobody would choose it because it's such a terrible choice.
Yeah.
It suffers from double inflation. It gets more expensive every year, and more degrees exist every year. So the value goes down, the price goes up year on year on year on year. It's a total waste of time.
Yeah.
But children are bored and they think, well, I don't get the money any other way, so I may as well take it. And that's why the whole educational system is a scam. Any man out here who goes, I'm just going to work hard, do my bit, and obey the laws, and I'll have a good life. No, you won't. No, you will not. Just doing your job is never going to make you rich, because you're just going to be taxed into infinity and you're going to stay broke. So just obeying laws and doing your job now has set you up to be a peon and a slave for eternity. You have to get yourself in a position where you're making enough money that, I'm not saying laws can be broken, but there certainly can be bent. I mean, I think you know this with accountancy and the way the tax laws work. You get to a certain level where it's like, okay, yeah, we can just put that one. Firstly, I'm going to tell you something about myself and most rich people. We don't own anything. I don't own anything. I don't own anything. There may be a trust fund in Ecuador that owns a company in Singapore that might own a yacht that I could borrow, for example. But I don't own shit. So that's the first thing. The second thing, you have all these different jurisdictions around the world. It's extremely complicated. How are you going to tax a rich guy? He has houses here, houses there, company here, company there, all the companies making the loss. Does Starbucks pay tax? No, Starbucks supposedly doesn't make money. Supposedly Uber's never made profit. An app on the phone with millions of cars around the world and people working endless hours for them and them getting a cut of it to run an app. Supposedly they never made profit, never paid a penny tax. Funny how that works. You can't tax the rich. It's too complicated. You can't tax the rich. It doesn't work. All you're going to do is just drive them into other countries. If England right now today were to announce a huge tax on the rich people just go, oh, cool, I'll base my company out of Belize. When I say don't own anything, I mean, I don't want to work on a public podcast here. I guess it depends on your ethos towards business. The problem with owning something is that it can be taken from you. So let's look at it the American way. In America, litigation is a big problem. Everyone gets sued all the time. So you don't want to own anything, because if you get sued, then you're going to have to pay that debt, and you might have to sell your assets to pay that debt.
Not if it's in a company though, if it's in a limited company.
Correct. This is the point. People don't even think about this stuff. They don't use their brain ever. They don't ever look around and realize how they're spending their money. They don't look around and look at which businesses are successful. They don't look around and pay attention to anything. They don't look at the world and all the things that are happening and how it can benefit them. None of it. They don't look at any of it. They're too busy following the circus. That's why it's Clown World. They know all about the football results.
Right,
They know all about Rihanna.
Yeah.
They know all about that crap, all about Love Island. They'll talk about Love Island all day. The same people who will march and fucking for labor saying, oh, the Tories are bad, labor. Watch Love Island at night. Oh, no wonder you're broke. You're a fool. You're a dummy. And no matter what the government does, no matter what a government or a financial system, no matter what they put together, it's always going to be competitive to some degree. Unless it's communism, which has been tried and they're trying to bring back, and we know how that all ends. Communism ends very, very quickly in violence because there's no other way to enforce anything. But no matter what they do or what law they make, there's going to be people who work harder than you and they're going to make more money than you. So if you're going to be a lazy dummy watching Love Island and not paying attention every time you spend money and not try and think and use your brain, guess what? You're going to stay fucking broke.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to say this now. I know for a fact when I talk about how the world works, and people say, but why would the people in charge do that? And I say, because they view you as scum. And the reason they view you as scum is, I can say this, and I'm not saying this in a horrible way. I'm from a council estate, right? I came from absolutely nothing. And I'm now at my position in life, and I know how hard I've worked. When I meet somebody who's 50 years old, and they have absolutely zero money, I don't think, oh, he's had it hard. I thought, he just didn't, he was lazy. Your sympathy disappears after a certain amount of time. When you pull it off, you pull it off, I pulled it off. When you've been through X amount of shit to pull it off, And everyone's just coming out with excuses all the time. Sympathy vanishes.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm sorry. I don't buy your shit.
Right.
You were too busy sniffing, drinking pints, doing all this dumb shit. I wasn't doing it. I don't feel sorry for you people. And, that's what happens after a certain amount of time. So if I feel that way, and I'm also from a council estate, imagine these people who were born as billionaires. Yeah. How do you think they view us? You think they give a shit about wrecking our currency? I don't give a fuck. You better find something to eat on the floor. They don't give a shit. This world is so much cooler than people understand. I've had people all the time come to me saying, yeah, I want to make money. Go take a half an hour and learn about fractional reserve bank. Learn you don't even know how money works.
Yeah.
You don't even know how a bank works. Like, how are you going to make something you don't know what it is?
Right.
If anybody with a brain didn't invest in pharmaceutical companies at the beginning of COVID, if you didn't buy stock in Abbott at the beginning of COVID, don't know why. If you didn't invest in the arms companies at the beginning of this forever war, I don't know why. Like, it's easy. Where's the money going? To Ukraine to buy guns. So what am I going to do? I'm going to buy stock in Raytheon. It's not complicated stuff. It goes into also, we'll talk about network and how important that is. But it's interesting you say about being in the room where people are talking about property deals. I say the same thing. I say this to people. I say, if you're in a room full of ice cream experts, and all they talk about is ice cream, how to make ice cream, their favorite flavor, the best way to store it, how much it costs to produce, how to transport it, and that's all they talk about is ice cream. Even if you have no interest in ice cream, over a long enough period of time, you're going to end up knowing stuff about ice cream. You're going to end up knowing shit. You're like, that's double chocolate this, it costs this much, and this is how they moved it. You're going to know things about ice cream. If you're in a room full of people who only talk about money, then you're going to end up knowing about money. It's exactly the same thing. And network is net worth. Everyone understands this. And people also understand that they're likely to become the sum of the 5 people they spend the most time with.
Yeah.
But then they hang around with losers. A cloud comes, it rains, it falls down to the ground, it goes under the ground, whatever, goes into a stream, it moves into the stream, goes to the ocean, evaporates again, up to a cloud, floats somewhere else, falls down again. It's always moving. That's how money is.